It's August 2020, Scotland, and I travelled from my home port on the south coast of England to take ownership of my 1987 Westerly Storm. The trip didn't turn out as expected. Join me as I look back on a real challenge, come along for the ride and a few lessons learned. The first job was to move the boat from where it wasn't supposed to be. It was far too grotty for preparation, not to mention the rather pervasive fishy odour in the air, so I motored the 9 miles to Kip. But first a flavour of things to come. You can see in front of you a little bit of daylight through the sail. Forward part of the engine bilge.
There's cheap Chinese crab. In here, this it's changed at 8 o'clock.
We might have to adjust for that. But that will take us.
Speed there. We do have Holyhead lifeboats proceeding out to intercept you. They'll provide an escort and, if needs be, a tow if your engine fails. Have you still got smoke coming from the engine bay?
Climb down this recovery crane. As you can see, I've been left dangling. The project was progressing. A few days prep turned into 10. Previous owner had just installed a fully reconditioned engine, which was now raising show-stopping concern. So I had to engage the services of the local Volvo Penta agent.
This rubber is bonded to the centre section, and also to the bonded onto the rubber. All of that is a bonding.
The engineer was brilliant, and though expensive, he did go out of his way so that I could get on my way, with advice to carry extra engine oil. It was now obvious that this engine hadn't been reconditioned at all, and this wasn't the last of my troubles with it. Kip is a great location with an exceptionally well-stocked chandlery, great facilities for yachtsmen, but as usual, it's the people and friends made that make the lasting memories. It's Harvey with a very nice looking Fisher ketch, always ready and happy to take lines, a thoroughly lovely chap. There's Jim, helped me with my radome installation up the mast, and then with Corin we enjoyed tea and homemade cake afterwards. And I must mention Sam, 87, with his classic 1937 motor yacht. He'd just finished converting his 12-volt system into 24. And not only was he happy for me to video a boat tour while we had another cup of tea, but I also got a tutorial on the Raymarine chart plotter to boot. It's great. So what?
It's all DIY. There's no professional work in here at all.
Right.
I had to work on this boat like a Trojan when I got it because it was a wreck, you know.
Yeah.
All the decks have been renewed. All of this, all that's been renewed. Seating is. I've moved that bulkhead forward 6 inches.
Right.
Redid the deck. Widened the side decks.
Okay.
Kept the Fairno, kept the Glencairn, kept the Rossi. So if I want to say go to. Kept the right bay, that's the engines I used to build.
Ooh.
12-cylinder.
My goodness me, how many stories high is that?
Oh gosh, well there's a guy standing up there, see him?
Wow.
There's a guy at the controls. And the cat there, see the cat? 12 cylinders. But anyway, that wasn't the point.
Oh yeah. How long did it take you to renovate?
From 1970 till today.
Right. And would you say you haven't quite finished?
Not quite finished. Never been finished.
And with that, and all the sea testing and preparation as complete as possible, it was time to stop feeding the swans and head south with the crew. This trip was a smashing crew, with JP the super resourceful Navy Sea Cadet and Glyn, engineer and top bloke with a spanner, Mick, who I sailed back from Scotland with last year, and me, skipper. Order of the day was getting everybody acquainted over beer and pizza, getting settled in and comfortable, followed by the obligatory safety and emergency procedures, and a final rig check and get the crew familiar with the lines. Before then, head out tomorrow before dawn. 5 AM came around, ramped up and ready to go. We slipped lines, walked the boat to the end of the pontoon to minimise disturbance to adjacent boats and sleeping people, turned the key, nothing, starter motor gone. Time for some delegation and Glyn the engineer to set to with the spanners.
Yeah, do you want to explain what the problem is?
The problem was cheap Chinese crab. In here, this plastic broke, so we made a makeshift spacer.
Or Glyn made a...
Well, we made a makeshift spacer without a screw, and now going to test fit and hopefully she'll fire.
And that's the casing of the...
This is the casing of the original starter motor.
That's the solenoid, isn't it, in there?
This is the solenoid, and this is what fires this backwards. And then there's a nice piece of plastic which is broke, goes through to the starter motor itself, which fires the cock forward, which hits the flywheel and starts your engine.
Well, all I can say is if this works, it's SV Delos, eat your heart out.
Yeah.
Sadly, our Heath Robinson repair didn't work out. Unlucky for us, it was also a bank holiday in Scotland, so nothing available today. All we could do is walk along the beach to watch our weather window disappear and try and come up with a solution. As it happens, JP did. Next day, his dad drove 245 miles from Liverpool and brought one to us. What a heart of gold. We're back in the game, there's a sliver of weather window left to us, and it's time to get ready and get some calories.
Yeah.
That was just the start of the video. So what we've got going on here is one of Charlie's special spag bowl. Some boiling water. I've made a little bit of garlic. Some garlic bread.
Garlic bread!
Garlic bread! Garlic bread!
Put the garlic
on the bread. Put the garlic on the bread.
Bit of olive oil.
I've got the beurre. Got a bit of beurre. Yeah, it's gonna sort of spread it a bit. Okay, what I'm doing now is I'm going to do a classic Italian with anchovies, chilli, and garlic and parsley, and that is it. A little bit of paprika, just to give it a bit of colour. Simple, sometimes little is more.
Any birds like
Look at the colour of that, baby. Nice, isn't it?
The food was fantastic, including the chili-infested vegan option, and we were ready to go next dawn.
we are sailing?
On a semi-pre-dawn, well, it's not pre-dawn now, is it? What is the time?
RSC, southerly, 3 to 5, increasing 6 later in the west. Smooth or slight, becoming slight or moderate. Showers. Good. Southwest, 3 to 5, backing south. Bearing southwest later, 5 to 6.
hot cup of tea, ham and pickle sandwich courtesy of Glyn.
Yep.
You've been down in the washing machine.
Ah, yeah, it's not a very nice experience in the washing machine.
What happens in the washing machine?
There's
It
no washing
spins
machine.
your head upside down with your stomach at the same time while you're trying to make a ham and pickle sandwich.
Yeah.
Didn't quite get to make the cup of tea because I think I would have been sick.
Yeah, and we've discovered that on a starboard tack, if you go to the loo, you do have to tell somebody to listen out for some tapping, because the tool drawer slides out, all of its own accord. Must be AI.
Yeah.
The boat's got AI. It slides out and then you can't open the door of the heads. Most inconvenient. On this first leg of the first trip, we've come from way up there, about 15 to 20 miles away. We're on a port tack, heading over to the Isle of Arran. Right, so the plan now is to head into Troon, because what you can see in front of you, a little bit of daylight through the sail, and you're not supposed to be able to see daylight through sails, so that's going to have to be repaired before we continue on too far. Can't really afford to have sails ripped irrevocably, so yeah, discretion and valour and all that will take a stop in Troon. And I think actually the crew are a little bit pleased that we're not beating into that sea anymore. Bless them. On top of our ripping jib on the way towards Troon and starting the engine, we get the temperature alarm. Will we get to Troon? How are we going to repair the sail? What else is going to go wrong? Do subscribe and all will be revealed in part 2.